All right, Shalom. This is Yaquab with GMS Dallas Camp. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teaching real well, and peace and blessings to the Akim scattered throughout the four corners, keeping his word in truth and sincerity. I'm just going to go into a quick video going into what Isaiah the 5th chapter, just pretty much make some points on it. I'm not going to go through the whole chapter, but so like it. This is Isaiah 5, and verse 1, it says, Now will I send to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved has a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And that vineyard is talking about the nation of Israel, And it says, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower with the midst of it and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. So it says that he fenced it. So, when you look at a vineyard, what a fence does is pretty much protect it. And that's what the nation of Israel, that's how pretty much the nation of Israel was. It was fenced by the Lord. It was being protected. And that choice vine is talking about Judah. And the tower represents the prophets. I believe if you look up, it's a lot. I think if you look up vine, it tells you. Give me 1 second. It says. Yeah. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of the wickedness afflict them anymore as before time. So it shows you right here, like it says in, like we was reading in Isaiah, the Lord planted us in the land of Canaan. Because we went up, and the Lord said that we should possess that land. So we came up against those, Philistine nations. Those Hamites. The Hittites, the Perizzites, the Senate, all of them. And we took over. We took them down. We took that land, that part of land, which became known as the land of Israel. Why? Because the Lord planted us there, like it says in the 2nd chapter, or the 1st chapter. It says, my well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, right? So I'm going to read verse 2 again. It says, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and those stones represent those heathen nations. It says that he gathered out the stones thereof, so when you have a vineyard and you plan to put seeds in it, plants, whatever, all types of vegetables you want to grow, you got to take all those things that are going to prevent it from growing, whether it be, those stones, or whether it be other weeds, you know what I mean? You got to dig that ground, make holes and plant your seeds, and then and water it, So those stones, those heathen nations had to be taken out. You know what I mean? And it says, and built a tower in the midst of it, which represents the prophets, the watchmen. Because that's what that tower was for, was to look down and look over that vineyard, and also made a winepress. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes, which represent those rebellious Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Because you dressed the Lord dressed Israel a certain way, and wanted it brought up a certain way. And out of it came out these wild grapes, which represents, pretty much Israel being wicked, going off. You know, as a matter of fact, if you go to Jeremiah 3, let's see. It says, "Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, saith the Lord." Oh, Salaki, let me jump down. Oh yeah, verse 6, it says, "The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, Hast thou seen that which backslided Israel had done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there had played the harlot." And that's what the nation of Israel has done. They've fallen away from the Lord and started worshiping these other nations' gods. And that's what that's talking about. They had played the harlot on every green tree. And I said, after she had done all these things, turned out unto me, but she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it. So that represents the northern and the southern kingdom. They both going off. That's why it says that it brought forth wild grapes. Because if you look at Nehemiah, it's like, if you look at, Nehemiah, the 9th chapter, this whole chapter pretty much goes into how the Lord gave Israel, like in the vineyard, the Most High took care of us, prepped us, brought us up, but them wild grapes still were brought forth, signifying that even though the nation of Israel was delivered or was set up, and then they went off and they were delivered, they still came back and went off, and it happened many times. Like, as a matter of fact, I'll read a little bit of it. 9 and 16 says, "But they and our fathers dealt proudly, and hardened their necks, and hearkened not to thy commandments." Those are those wild grapes, right? And refused to obey, neither were mindful of thy words that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and in the rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art a God ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and forsookest them not. So it shows you the mercy of the Lord, because when it gives you that example in Isaiah, go back, he tells you, I'm going to continue on in verse 4, Isaiah 5 and 4. Oh, so like Isaiah 5 and 3, it says, "O now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard." So Lord is, pretty much making that point, like, look, between the men of Jerusalem and the men of Judah, just check out this situation between me and my vineyard, right? It says, "What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?" So like we read in Nehemiah, if you read that chapter, it shows you all the things that the Lord did for us. Like, what more could he have done, right? "Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes." So after all these things that I did, I fenced it, I watered it, I put, a fertilizer, what I mean? So, so to speak, I gave it all these nutrients, made sure that it would grow good, and the vineyard would grow good and healthy. What more could I have done, right? It says, I'll read it again, verse 4. "What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes." You know, so like all these things, what more could I have done that that it should have brought forth these grapes, but it brought forth wild grapes. And I go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. So the Lord is saying, look, this is going to happen. I did all these things, and then these wild grapes came out. Now the vineyard is ruined, right? I will take my hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And that wall, that hedge, or that fence, like we read in the in the second chapter, the Lord is going to bring it down. That protection is going to be brought down, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns, and I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. So all the blessings of the Lord is going to be taken away, because that's what that goes into. If you read, where is it? Deuteronomy 28. If you read from the top, it tells you if we follow after the ways of the Lord, all these blessings are going to come upon us, right? So if you read verse 1, it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. And it gives you a list of blessings. Now, if you jump down to verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And then it gives you a list of the curses. And that's true. Because if you read Baruch, and I'll pull it up here and on my Bible, Baruch 1 and 19, it says, since the day that the Lord brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day, we have been disobedient unto the Lord our God, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. Those are those wild grapes. They've been negligent. They were those stiff-necked Israelites, those rebellious Israelites that would not follow after the way of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, right? So it says, verse 20, wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse which the Lord appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that flowed with milk and honey, like as it is to see this day. And that's what we read in Isaiah the 5th chapter. The Lord has set us upon that fruitful hill, and he gathered the stones out of it. So that's when we overtook those Canaanite nations, or those Philistine nations, those the land of Canaan, and we took over. Right? So it says, wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse which the Lord appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that flowed with milk and honey, like as it is to this day. Nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our God, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us. See, there you go. And that's why we got cursed. Like it says right there, the curse is cleaved unto us. And I'm going to jump down to verse 45 here in Deuteronomy 20 and 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee. See, Baruch 1 says, the curse is cleaved unto us. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. See, so that's how we know we are part. The scrolls, the Israelites is talking about us. We are the nation of Israel, nation of Judah. I'm sorry, we are the nation of Israel. Judah and Israel, the northern and southern kingdom, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's how we can link up our this people to these words, man. That's how we know that that's us. Because this is just one example, but like brothers say, man, through the Spirit, that's how we know that these curses are on our people. So going back to Isaiah 5, yeah. So it says that the Lord had trodden down the walls, right, and that protection has gone away. So now the curse isn't upon us. It says, and I will lay it waste, it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. So no blessings were the blessings was taken away, right? For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the man of Judah is his pleasant plant. See, there you go. The choice vine. Because Judah is the head tribe, right? It says, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. That's what it was. What I'm saying? Righteousness wasn't being brought forth, and now Israel was left in a horrible state, man. That's why you see our people in the situation that they're in now. They live in the hoods, in the ghettos, in the barrios, and the Native Americans in these whack ass reserves that they got. As a matter of fact, I didn't finish Deuteronomy 28. Right, verse 47, it says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart and for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And that goes into, us going into slavery, whether it be during the Babylonian Empire, the Roman Empire, or even today here in America. This is the answer to why our people are suffering so much. But there's going to come a time where the Most High is going to deliver us out of this. The Most High is raising up his prophets, to pretty much bring back that remembrance of the nation of Israel. And this is all according to prophecy. The Most High said that he was going to bring us back, and put us. As a matter of fact, it's in that same. Oh no, Salakia. If you go to Isaiah 2, it says the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Right, there goes the northern and southern kingdom again, right? And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So the nation of Israel as a whole is going to come back. Like it said right there, Judah and Jerusalem, right? It says that the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. So we going to come back as a nation and judge this place. Of course, there's a process to it. But I'm just showing you the example of us going off and being brought down low to where we're even lesser than Esau right now. But the Most High was going to bring us back up and set us upon at the top of the mountains and hills, which represent those governing bodies. Mountains, hills, valleys, all that have different elevations, which represent those different elevations of power, so to speak. So Esau is going. Oh, I'm sorry. So the nation of Israel is going to be on top of that. And then Israel is going to be the top governing body, man. It's going to be on top of the mountains, like it says. Verse 3, it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. That's us. To the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. You know, you can keep going on this, but that's pretty much the point I wanted to bring out. You know, we gonna be that governing body, man, and these other nations are going to have to learn of our ways. Just like we were brought up in their ways, they gonna be brought up in our ways in righteousness. You know, we gonna do it in righteousness. You know, and like it says, in the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So with that, Lord willing, brothers, were edified. I want to say, Kahala Yahab Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to apostles and elders, great meals to a teacher and well. Peace and blessings to Lakim scattered throughout the four corners, keeping his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.